Let's make sure this is on, man. I think we're good. Let me restart this real quick. Make sure we're chilling. If I go to the home page. Okay, so I have to check and see if this is on first, man. Give me 2 seconds real quick. Let's check this out. All right, we're good. Put this in real quick. All right, I think we're chilling. Let me make sure. Can you guys hear me, man? You guys hear me? Listen, bro. Tonight's Smackdown had a lot. We had a lot, bro. We had a lot. Let's make sure we're good, man. Let me turn this on. You guys can all hear me, correct? Everybody can hear me. Let me adjust this real fast. Make sure we're everything is in view. You guys can hear me, okay, bro? All right, man. Let's start off, chat. What'd you think of Smackdown, bro? What'd y'all think of Smackdown? I have some thoughts. We got a couple things that I thought were cool. We got a lot of things that I thought were stupid. Now, first off, we have an issue that's plaguing this show. Let's go through this for a second. Not only was every single person on the show a complete jobber, but nothing makes any sense. I will acknowledge, woo, 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 you know it. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty sick. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I enjoyed that very much. I will say that 10-minute portion of the show was very entertaining to your boy. However, when you go down this list, we had a completely garbage opening segment where Io Sky and Rhea Ripley just stunk it up. They just stunk it up. I don't know what they said. They don't know what they said. No one in the audience knew what they were talking about, and we move on. We then had the numbers for War Games have been revealed. We are going to have Drew McIntyre, Bronito Breakker, Broncinho, and Logano versus Codarius, Roman, the Usos, and CM Punkinator. Are you serious right now? Drew McIntyre should be fighting for a WWE championship, and this guy's in a meaningless War Games match that has nothing to do with anything. That is what Drew McIntyre is doing. Secondly, let me see this real quick. Melonhead, thank you for sending over the 2. He says Zack Ryder, a.k.a. Mid Cardona. Mid Cardona. That's what he is. He's an undercardona. You know what I'm saying? He's an undercardona. He's a jobber. We then moved on. We had Samantha Zayn came out in the ring to tell us about the MFTs. Is anybody excited to see Samantha Zayn come out and talk about the MFTs? The MFJs, the My Family Jobbers came out there to talk to Samuel Zayn. About what? Nobody cares. We then move on. We had the open title for the United States Championship. Nobody cares. Why would I want to see Ilya Jabberov fighting against Axiom? This is the type of stuff that we were getting on the show tonight. Ilya Jabberov fought Axiom, and this is why he fought Axiom. These are Ilya Jabberov's words, not mine. Ilya Jabberov says these words: I am fighting Axiom for dignity, respect, honor, and pride in the U.S. title open challenge. That is what Ilya Dragunov said. Who has pride in Axiom? Nobody knows who he is. No one in the audience knows who he is. I don't know who he is. We've seen him before. Nobody knows anything about this jobber. And we're talking about some I have respect and dignity? What are you respecting? Axiom's ability to job out? Anyways, we then move on. What was next after this? It's been officially confirmed, guys, that Charlito Flair is no longer a part of the Women's War Games until Raw. That is basically what's been confirmed. Charles Xavier is no longer a part of the Women's War Games team for 2 days until we get to Monday Night Raw, and she'll be right back on the team, of course, again. We then move on to what else we had. Samantha Zayn, I already talked about that, but it's been officially revealed that he's been medically cleared. Are you guys excited that Samuel Zayn has been cleared? Yeah! Next week, Samantha Zayn's going to fight against Ilya Dragunov, and he's going to put on a banger. And Samantha Zayn's going to fight the following week versus Axiom, and he's going to put on a banger. And the following week, he's going to fight against Dragon Lee, and they're going to put on a banger. We then move on. Jimmy Uso, Jamato Uso, has been officially revealed that he is going to be the 4th member in the War Games team. Does anybody care? No. We then move on. Let me honest this real quick. Nick, thank you for sending over the 5. I appreciate your support. He says, excited for the eventual Penta versus Jey Uso last time is now final. Again, we're going to get to the John Cena final in a second, because next we have Zachary Ryderton. He came out there to challenge Los Angeles Knight. This match was entertaining. Was it good? No. Was it entertaining and funny to watch? Absolutely. So I will give this match a pass. We had The Miz versus Jay Yeetmaster. Can someone please explain to me why in the John Cena tournament are we getting 95% of the competitors are all 40 plus years old? Does anybody have a reasoning for this? Is there a reasoning? Sheamus, 50 dang near. Rusev, 40. Damian Priest in his 40s. LA Knight in his 40s. Jey Uso in his 40s. The Miz in his 40s. Who else is in this tournament, man? Shinsuke Nakamura in his 40s. Who else is in this? Phineas Balor is fighting Penta to see who's going to fight John Cena. Phineas Balor has not won a match since 1982. Anyways, he's fighting Penta next week. And finally, Carmelo Hayes is fighting Broncinho Reed in the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament. This actually makes sense, and I'm excited for it. Why? Because you finally have people who are below the age of 40 years old actually wrestling. Carmelo Hayes should win this match, and hopefully he will move on to actually fight John Cena, or at least be close to doing so. Because this is embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man. Goodness gracious. What business does Phineas Balor have out there fighting a 40-year-old Penta? How old is Penta, man? How old is Penta? Seriously. Penta is 40. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? Ace Rabbit sends over 2. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. He says, you hate Codarius Rodington but have his jacket. Why? I have Cody Rhodes' jacket because, believe it or not, I will admit, and I've said this before on video, Cody Rhodes' American Nightmare jacket that I have sitting over there in the corner is absolutely phenomenal. It is a phenomenal piece of wear, and I continue to wear it to this day because it is a great jacket, and it's actually really high quality. I will give him that. However, he didn't make the jacket. He probably agreed to the design, but the people who made the jacket are the reason why it's great. So there you have it. Let me tell you something right now. If I go live after Raw and Libation Station is on it, you guys will see the debut of the Libation jacket on a live stream. I will come onto the live stream wearing that. The day he cuts a good promo, I will be wearing that Libation jacket, but that is saved for specific occasions. Now, as I said, this episode of SmackDown was complete trash. So without further ado, let's get into what happened in tonight's episode of SmackDown. First off, we got to check in real quick and we got to acknowledge a couple things. Number one, nothing made sense tonight. So you're going to hear me saying a lot of things, and I'm going to say that this didn't make sense or this didn't make sense. You're going to hear a lot of that because it's coming. A-Lister Lennox sends over a 10. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate that, bro. That's big time. He says this War Games match is somehow more pointless than last year's, and who gives a crap about Solo's faction anymore? I feel nervous for when Obafemi comes to the main roster due to the treatment of Carmelo Hayes. That is an absolutely great point. Absolutely great point. A-Lister Lennox, that's complete facts. When Carmelo Hayes is getting jobbed out the way he is, and when he's done nothing of meaning for an entire year and a half, I don't know what's going to happen with Obafemi. Even Trick Williams as well. Brandon Camarini sends over a 2. Thank you so much for your support. He says WWE is the washed up wrestling federation. That is facts. T-Bone Gaming 344 sends over a 2. He says, thoughts on Brunson getting his title shot? I thought that made sense. It makes complete sense. I will be honest, like I said, there were a couple things tonight that actually made sense. Charlotte not wanting to work with Rhea Ripley, that makes sense. Brunson Reed getting a title shot with Cody Rhodes, that makes sense. You can't beat Roman Reigns and then go on to not fight for a title. You have to fight for something. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I actually like that, actually, if I'm being honest. Santiago Spencer sends over a 5. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that, man. I really do. He says, thank you, C-Jax. Thank you. What's it called? C-Dex, you could run WWE better than Triple Fraud? Most likely, yes. He's not running the show. So, I mean, all I would have to do is show up to work and I'd already be doing a better job. He's not even there. But that's the situation with that. Without further ado, let's get into this review. We started off, ladies and gentlemen, with first off, but hold on, because we'll read these dollars as they come in, bro. Mr. Slayer 39 cents over a 5. He says, John Cena's final time is now is supposed to be the passing of a torch for upcoming stars, not the nostalgia route. Mr. Slayer, you're absolutely correct, and I thank you for your support. That's the facts. What did it say? Anyways, I think I saw that. I thought I saw something else. Anyways, that's not the point. We started off with a garbage segment. This segment was Io Sky and Rhea Ripley coming out to talk about nothing. Nobody can remember what they talked about. I can't even tell you what they talked about. I had to make a note of what they said because I can't even remember it. Rhea Ripley came out there and said, you know the funny thing about War Games? You know the funny thing is I'm gonna take back my title. I never lost yet. Nobody wants to hear that, man. Nobody wants to hear that. Let's be honest with ourselves. Hold on, man. Francois sends over a tweet. He says this company just relies on lazy tropes and best friends. Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's complete garbage. Thank you for your support, though. But anyways, Rhea Ripley comes out and embarrasses herself. I have had enough. Man, these super chats are flowing. Hold on. Guy0218 sends over a tweet. He says SmackDown is going back to 3 hours. Yes, we're going to discuss that soon. Matter of fact, let's discuss that now before we get into the review. 3 Diglett sends over a 10. Thank you for your support as well. He or she or they, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Basically, he says Rhea is trash on the mic. Rhea is garbage on the mic. And thank you for the 10, by the way. I really appreciate that. Rhea is garbage. Before we get into the review, let me tell you something. This actual episode, if you thought that this was bad, SmackDown is going back to 3 hours starting on January 2nd of 2026. Are you kidding me? SmackDown has been garbage for months, and we're going back to 3 hours, which means we're going back to 3-hour naps. That is what that means, because this is embarrassing, man. It's been officially confirmed today. The January 2nd SmackDown show in Buffalo, New York will mark the beginning of WWE restarting the 3-hour SmackDowns. That is an official report that we have gotten, and it is an embarrassment. If this actually goes through, which is going to, it's sad. SmackDown at 3 hours is going to be lifeless and garbage. We've already seen it this year, and it sucked. What makes you think that now, with under even worse booking, that it's going to be any better? It's sad. Odera James sends over a dono. He says Roman Reigns has to be at War Games to save the show. Even if he's there, it's low-key not going to save it, but I do appreciate your support, of course. But that's the situation with that. Anyways, the SmackDown being 3 hours is embarrassing. Now let's move on. Rhea Ripley came out and basically said the same thing she always says. She says that the numbers, yeah? They're going to get in the way, yeah? And the funny thing about numbers, yeah? Is that at the end of the day, yeah? It's going to beat you, yeah? Because I'm going to take my baton. I never lost, yeah? That's all she says. Io Sky then gets on the mic and she says, numbers game! I hate numbers! War game! Put your hands down. What are you talking about? What are you pointing like this for? You didn't do anything. She didn't say anything. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous, man. It's embarrassing at this point. Mr. Slayer sends over another 5. He says, are you ready for 3 ads a match and 5 backstage segments next year? Hopefully not. Thank you so much for the dono, though. But that's what we got. Rhea Ripley comes out with the same mask because she broke her nose or whatever happened, so now she's coming out dressed as Batman. In the same way that Bayley comes out on Raw with a split personality and goes, we are Bayley, we are Venom, Eddie, we can do whatever we want. And then we move on, and she thinks she's Venom. Then you move over to SmackDown, and Rhea Ripley thinks that she's Batman. I'm Batman. I'm vengeance. You're a jobber. That's what you are. Get it right. You're not Venom. You're not Batman. You are a jobber. Let's move on. After this happens, Alexa Bliss then gets out into the ring. Alexa Bliss basically claims that we are tired of the Kabuki Warriors. We're tired of Lash Legend and Nia Jax. And at the end of the day, you guys started this battle, and we are going to finish it. Yay! You started a battle. We're going to finish it, man. That is so epic. Alexander Bliss is one of the greatest women's promo workers of all time. And when you came out there tonight and you listen to what she has to say, this is not the same Alexa Bliss from the 2010s. I'm going to tell you that right. I don't know what this was. This was embarrassing. And this is coming from an Alexa Bliss fan. This is ridiculous. A-lister Lennox sends over a 2. He says, you know they're raising the prices for that extra hour. Of course they are. We're going to get more ads, more garbage, and more trash. Anyways, let's move on. We then had Alexa Bliss say that we're going to end this battle. Charlotte Flair, Charles Flair, Charlie Flair, Charles Xavier, Charlatan Flair. She comes out there and she basically says, Rhea, I don't like you. I don't love you. I don't respect you. I don't need you. And I think you're a snake. And then after that, she says, Rhea, I'm not teaming with you guys. Okay. And what does that accomplish? We know Charlotte's going to be back on the team by Monday on Raw. So what does this do? You don't love me. You don't care for me. You don't need me, but you're showing up on Raw. So what? Anyways, we move on again. Charlotte Flair then ends the segment. She walks away from the ring. She leaves the ring and she walks backstage, never to be seen from again. It's the same thing that Cody Rhodes does week after week. But for some reason, when Charlotte does it, Corey Graves is on commentary telling Cole, that was very awkward, man. I don't know why they did that. But when Cody comes out in a trench coat to tell us how much he loves and respects us and he leaves for the rest of the show, nobody says anything. You want to talk about favoritism and nonsense and bias and garbage? There's your answer. Let's go back and read this. Roxy Wolfie sends over a dono. Thank you so much for your support, Roxy. They said, we are trash. We are jobbers. Yes, that is exactly what they are. I'm tired of Bayley coming out and telling me about Venom. This isn't Marvel. This is WWE, and it's in one of the worst eras. It's in the worst era it's ever been in. So stop telling me about this nonsense. We move on. We got in the John Cena Final Time Is Now tournament, 16 competitors. We're looking for something special, something exciting, compelling opponents that can actually make us think that we would want them to be John Cena's final match. But instead, let me tell you what we got before I read these. Tony One sends over a dono. He says, Joe Hendry signed with WWE today. Will he face Solo? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Goodness gracious, man. Joe Hendry's a jobber, but thank you so much for your support, Tony. Wait, ladies and gentlemen, we got to pause it. We got a big 100 sent over from Lucky. I don't know about the currency in which that 100 is, so I don't know what the measurements are, but it doesn't matter. Every single piece of support and help that is given to your boy is absolutely appreciated. So Lucky, thank you so much for your support. Mahomes bomb, big bomb. I don't watch weekly shows anymore, but your rants are funny as F. Who do you think should be John Cena's final opponent, and can you do a Cody impression? Absolutely, I can do a Cody impression because I respect you, I love you, I need you, and I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Of course I can do a Cody impression. John Cena's final opponent is most likely going to be Gunther. Gunther, the ring jobber, Gunther. Gunther's probably going to be his final opponent. I want it to be either Carmelo Hazington or Trick Williams. That's what I want, but we're not going to get that. Nicholas Murray sends over a 5. He says, I'm going to take back my thought that I never lost in my head. Yeah, stuck in his head. Thanks for the laugh. No problem, Nicholas. Thank you for your support. But that's the situation with that. I've had enough. I've had enough of this stuff with these NXT jobbers. They're going to bring them up, and they're not going to do anything. They're not going to be anything. They're not going to be anything, man, so we have to move on. We next had a match in the 16-man John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament. You got... Drum roll, please. Let's give it a drum roll, guys. We got The Miz versus Jay Yeaterman. The match was absolutely mid at best. At best. And after this match took place, Jay Yeatmaster ended up getting the W. Aren't we so happy, guys? We just watched Jey Uso win a world title. We just watched him defend the world title. We just watched him be in a meaningless tag at Money in the Bank. He then lost the belt to Gunther, and he's been feuding with the Vision for 15 years. And we're out here watching Jey Uso be announced and confirmed now to fight against The Miz, and he wins the match, and now he's advancing in the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament. Who in the chat wants to see Jay Yeatmaster fight John Cena in his final match? Tell me who wants to see that, Mom. I'm out here putting the comb to my hair, you know what I'm saying? Who wants to see it? Who wants to see it, Mom? Nobody wants to see that. We move on, because Jey Uso wins, he's advancing in the tournament, so that's that. Cody Rhodes is then backstage. And ladies and gentlemen, Mason Smith, thank you for that too. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Anyways, Jay Yeatmaster wins the match and we get backstage. What I'm about to say is going to shock a lot of people. But Codarius Rodington, this backstage segment was great. It's been confirmed that Cody Rhodes is going to fight Bronson Reed in the main event of tonight for the WWE Championship. And I gotta say, I'm proud of Cody Rhodes. I'm proud of Triple H for this decision because it's about time that instead of cutting a promo in a trench coat, that Cody Rhodes actually does something with his time and does something with that championship. He should have been a fighting champion since the very beginning. And now he's finally fighting with that belt semi-consistently, and he's defending the championship. This is what Cody Rhodes needs to do more of. If we get more of this and less libations, we might actually be onto something. Cody Rhodes did something tonight. Yes, he actually did. It never happens, but it happened tonight. Let me take a sip of this libation. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I respect it. I love it. Yeah. Need you. Anyways, Francois sends over a 5. He says, Gunther struggling to beat Patrick McAfee is the same as Byron Saxton getting up from commentary and giving a champ like Roman or Brock a 50-50 match. Francois, that is an epic comment, bro, and I thank you so much for your support. That's complete facts. The fact that Gunther was in a close match with Patrick McAfee, Patrice McAfee. Are you kidding me? Patterson McAfee. Okay, but we're good. Anyways, Let's move on from this. Izzy does it, sends over a 5. What's it called? The fact that they are running it with the Bloodline for the 3rd year in a row is ridiculous. Yeah, the Bloodline is going to be in every War Games match because they have no other option. They don't know. Triple H does not know how to book shows. So at the end of the day, you're going to get the same people showing up every single time. So it is what it is. We have to unfortunately accept it for what it is. We have to walk away from what was and walk into what is. This company sucks. It's as simple as that, bro. Manny96P sends over a 2. Thank you so much. He says Gunther retired Goldberg this year. It's not fair. Exactly. How do you Can you guys explain something to me? Let's go through this for a second. How do you lose your world championship and get tapped out by Jay Yeetmaster in 10 seconds? Then you proceed to have a 50-50 match with Patricio McAfee. Then after that, fast forward later in the year, you're now beating John Cena in his last match? What? What? Jey Uso got injured? Wait, hold up. Did Jey Uso get injured, guys? He's injured? Oh, no, bro. No, Mr. Slayer 39 sends over a 10. He says, hey, C-Dex, remember the intro you did with Solo Song 5 months ago? Because that's how I feel every match, or every SmackDown, sorry. If you don't remember, then it's what's it called? It's called Your SmackDown Was Lifeless and Awful video. I gotta watch that video back. Thank you for that dono. Jey Uso's injured, bro? What? Okay, he's not injured. Okay, he's not injured. Okay, I was gonna say. Dude, Braun Breaker did spear him pretty hard through that table, though. I did see that. That Braun Breaker was cooking with that, mom. What's it called? A Dark Light Inferno sends over a 2. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, bro. But yes, that's basically what happened with that. We then move on. What else happened after this? Cody Rhodes was announced to fight Bronzinho Reed for the WWE Championship later in the night. We move on. We then had the worst part of the night. I'm warning you right now, guys, turn your volumes down. You're going to want to turn your volumes down for this because we have a problem. Ilya Dragunov fights against Axiom. He fights against Axiom, for his words, not mine, for dignity, respect, honor, pride, care, and responsibility. Is this a superhero movie or is this a wrestling match? Why is Ilya Jabarov going out there every week and fighting a jobber that we know he's going to beat? This is not exciting. Nobody wants to see Ilya Jabarov go out there and fight Axiom. Nobody knows who Axiom is. Nobody cares about Axiom. Nobody cares about Ilya Jabarov. It's the same match every single week. There's no story. There's no care. There's no life in it. And the crowd doesn't know who they are. So why are we getting it every week? Take the belt off of him. Have him go back to catering and make a salad or a sandwich or whatever snack that he wants and sit there. Go far and stay there. That's what we need for Ilya Jabarov. I've never seen something so infuriating. We used to have SmackDowns having Batista and Undertaker and Rey Mysterio and Edge and Cena, etc. And you're telling me now that a mid-card match takes up 20 minutes of the show is Ilya Jabarov versus Axiom. Anyways, that match takes place. We missed a couple donuts, man. Let me go back and read these, man. Because there's just, it's so infuriating. I'm so tired of seeing these jobbers, man. Mr. Slayer sends over a 2. He says to Anakin, bro, stop spamming for no reasons, man. Yeah, that's facts. You got to stop spamming. Thank you for your support, though. Your volume is low. Are you calm? I don't know if it's low, man. If it's low, I'm sorry, okay? You know what I'm saying? If it's low, I'm really sorry about that. But Ilya Jabarov is a jobber, and he sucks. He sucks. Tired of seeing him go out there with Axiom every week and these random jobbers. What's first? It's Axiom, Nathan Frazier. You're talking about opponents with dignity, respect, and honor. Nathan Frazier has honor? What has he won? Someone in the chat tell me, what has Nathan Frazier won on the main roster? Does anybody know? Do you know? You in the back? No. Ridiculous. Anyways, Mason Smith sends over a 5. He says there's no more legitimate heels in this trash company. What's it called? The last great heel will always be Roman. Thank you for the 5, Mason. That's complete facts. We all know this. Roman Reigns is clearly the last. He's clearly the last heel. I mean, it's as simple as that. There's not. I can't name you one. I can't name you one heel on the roster, and Triple H has been booking after Mania for 9 or 7 months. Can't name you one heel. Not one. Dashawn Dunn sends over a 5. He says the fact that SmackDown is going to back to 3 hours is disgusting. I can barely stay up for 2 hours. I love listening to your rants before work. Thank you for the support, Deshaun, and I hope that you love this rant as well. By the way, guys, when SmackDown goes back to 3 hours, it's going to be genuinely listen, because I told you guys I have not watched a full episode of SmackDown from start to finish, and I have to really think about this for a second. How long has it been, man? At least 10 months. At least 10 months. It's as simple as that, man. Simple. Power Up sends over two. He says, you remember when jobbers were entertaining? Yeah, I do. I remember when, like, guys like R-Truth and John Morrison and, like, Dolph Ziggler are 15 times more entertaining now than uppercarters. Would you rather watch Dolph Ziggler go out and cut a promo and have a match, or Cody Rhodes? I want the chat's answer to that. I'm genuinely curious. Would you rather watch Dolph Ziggler go out there and have a promo and match, or would you rather watch Cody Rhodes? Be honest with yourself. Be honest. Dolph Ziggler is better in the ring, and Dolph Ziggler is better on the mic. The bar's low because both of them are obviously jobbers. But I like Dolph Ziggler, and he had potential. A lot more potential than Codarius. Say that much. Simple as that. Dolphin Ziggler. Dolphin Ziggler, bro. The Sean Sims, AEW's Blood and Guts is already better than Store Games. Yes, absolutely. That's probably true. War Games already has no story, but that's not the point. We then move on. We had Ilya Dragunov. He retained his belt. Nobody cares. Then we have a great part of the night, guys. Guess who came out? Whoa! Whoa! Let's go! How many times are we going to do this, man? You know what? Lower your volume again. Lower your volume again. I'm going to warn you now. Lower it down. Lower it down. Lower it down, because here's the problem, guys. We have a problem. Samantha Zayn is one of the most annoying jobbers of all time. Sam Zayn has not done anything of good quality or meaning for 2 years. He's done nothing. He comes out and gets in everybody else's business and storyline and contributes nothing to the show. And it's getting infuriating. If you want to have people actually contribute to the show, book them that way. Why is Sami Zayn consistently doing the same thing? 1 week, he's coming out there. Hold on, ma'am. Hold on. Let me see this. Is this person spamming or not, ma'am? What's going on, ma'am? Let me just put this in timeout real quick. Yeah, there we go. I can put people in timeout. Anyways, Samuel Zayn goes out there every single week and jobs out. He says the same thing. I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to fight for you. And then when Karrion Kross is out there, he says, Sammy, you're never going to be a world champion. You're never going to be a world champion. It's ridiculous, man. And now he's telling Solo Sikoa that I have a problem with you. Hey, Solo, I have a problem with you. Let's go! My face, man. It's ridiculous. I want to ever hear anything from this current version of Sami Zayn needs to be vaulted immediately. Mr. Slayer 39 sends over a 5. He says, why was Samuel Zayn even out there? I don't know. I don't know. I have no reason for these things because Triple H has no reason for these things. Why is Drew McIntyre coming out there to say nothing? He doesn't even say anything. He just comes out and hits a Claymore and he's back. He was suspended, now he's back. Because of why not? Oh, his name is in the contract. It's in the contract, C-Jax. In the contract. Anyways, Sami Zayn has that segment with the MFTs. Solo Sikoa basically says that, Sammy, I have a problem with you. What? It's 2025. I don't care if Sami Zayn and Solo have a problem with one another. They have a problem. We move on. After this takes place, let me go back up real quick, man, because I've missed some things. Let me go back up in here, mom, because this is ridiculous at this point. I'm about to lose it. The Unconventional Man sends over a 5. Thank you so much for your support, The Unconventional Man. Thank you. He says, I think nothing will change until Triple H is removed. Triple Fraud is removed from his position. Carmelo Hayes has that it factor, and he's being overlooked. That's absolutely true. Thank you for your support. Thank you for that 5. Thank you for the dono. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Trap Senpai sends over a 5. He says LA Knight or even Sheamus, since he beat John Cena for the belt, would be nice, but pushing new stars should be a priority. I agree with that absolutely wholeheartedly. Thank you so much. DM Studios, spam the W's in the chat for DM Studios, man. Thank you so much for that dono. He sends over a 31, a big old 31, because we've had 31 awful Smackdowns this year. He sends over a 31, and he says, I wouldn't be surprised if Sami Zayn wins the Rumble in 26. I wouldn't be surprised either. I genuinely would be disgusted. And I'm telling you right now, watch what happens. Listen, I'm going to give you guys a spoiler. This is not a prediction. This is a spoiler, as Paul Heyman would say. Samuel Zayn is going to win a world title at some point in the next year or two. I'm warning you now. It's going to happen. And you're going to have to sit down and watch one of the worst episodes of Raw ever. And Sami Zayn is going to be the guy opening and closing that show. I can't even take a sip of that. Let's just move. This is so stupid. Oh my gosh, man. Whatever, bro. Literally whatever. Joel Desai sends over a 5. Thank you so much. He says, they missed an opportunity at the end where Drew should have screamed, "I can't stop thinking of a book," then comes in for the save. That would have been pretty sick, actually. I would have really enjoyed that, of course. Because at the end of the day, it's a lot better doing that than the other nonsense that they have. You know what I mean? So that's that. Now, we then move on. We had Sami Zayn brawls with the MFJs, sorry. Let me tell you who Sami Zayn's teammates are during this brawl. The Motor City Machine Guns, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Rey Fenix. We're good. I'm not even going to do it. Every single person I just named is a jobber. And to make it even worse, the Wyatt jobbers are coming out afterwards, and we have... What do we have after? The Wyatt jobbers are backstage, and they're doing the video glitching thing, showing that they're going to come for Solo Sikoa. Yeah! Stop. It's ridiculous, man. I've had enough of these jobber teams. You know what? Lower your volumes again. We have another problem, ladies and gentlemen, because I just realized another problem. Look at everybody who is in this ring. I've said this before. We're going to go through it again. Sami Zayn, jobber. Rey Fenix, jobber. Motor City Machine Bum number 1, jobber. Motor City Machine Bum number 2, jobber. Who else is here? Shinsuke Nakamura, jobber. We then look at the MFJs, the My Family Jobbers. Solo Sikoa, jobber. Bachaloa, jobber. We then move on. We had Jeffrey Cobb, Corona Cobb, Jeff Cobberson. He is a jobber. Tala Tonga, jobber. Yeah. Tama Tonga, jobber. The Wyatt Six, Dexter Loomis, jobber. Joseph Gacy, jobber. Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy. Boy Howdy, it wasn't me, my brother. Shout out to Bray Wyatt, of course. But Bo Howdy is a jobber. Okay, it's as simple as that, bro. Eric Rowan, jobber. It keeps going. Everyone here is a jobber. It's as simple as that. Got to be kidding me, man. Let me go back up here and read this, bro. It's ridiculous. Mobile Monty sends over a big old 6-7. Sends over a 6-7, bro. Thank you so much for your support. C-Dex, I'm so happy for you, bro. I'm so glad that your content is flourishing and you're receiving so much support. You the man. Thank you so much, Mobile Monty. That means a lot. I appreciate your support, and it means a lot to me, like I said. I thank you so much. That means a lot, man. I'm glad that you're rooting for my success. And as always, I appreciate when you guys do that, man. That means a lot to me. So thank you. Thank you so much. Anyways, what was I just talking about? Yes, thank you. Thank you to Mobile Monty. That's what I meant to say. Brandon Kaminari sends over a 2. Thank you so much. He said, Jeffrey Cobb eats Cobb the long way. He probably does. But that's not, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. Yeah, we're spamming the 6-7s. Anyways, we then move on from this, and we got officially confirmed that Yamato Uso is a part of the men's War Games team for the Faces. Let me give you guys another spoiler, not a prediction. What's going to happen on Monday Night Raw, and this may be a good moment, it may not be a good moment, but this is what's going to happen. Roman Reigns is going to join the face team, and Brock Lesnar is going to join the heel team. They will both return within a few minutes of each other. You'll think that one side is getting over on the other, and the other person will return. Sorry, excuse me, but the other person will return. That's basically what's going to happen. This is not a prediction. This is a spoiler. Roman will either come back, and then Lesnar will come back, or Lesnar will come back, and Roman will come back. Same thing. Stupid. But it is what it is. We don't really have a choice at this point. We have to sit here and watch the garbage and just embrace it for what it is, which absolutely, at the end of the day, it's just complete trash. It's as simple as that. So that's that. But Jimmy Uso, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso are your men's face War Games team. And there you have it. And then obviously for the men's, the men's face, the heel, it's going to be Drew, Logan, Brock, Braun, Benito. Obviously, we have another problem I just realized, guys. We have another issue I just realized. Listen to this. Why is it that Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are supposed to be the future, but they're surrounded by talent that makes them look and appear as inferior? Drew McIntyre is better and bigger than both Brunson and Braun Breaker by a mile. Logan Paul, it's the same thing. On top of that, we also have Brock Lesnar, who's going to be the big star of the whole team. So Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are playing 4th and 5th fiddle when they're supposed to be the self-proclaimed and proclaimed by the company and by Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins as the future of the industry and the future of WrestleMania, and they're paying 4th and 5th fiddle to Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. There it is. Simple as that. Think about it. Lil Jimmy, bro. Shout out to Lil Jimmy. He says, you look like you get no play. Hey, Mom. You never know, Mom. Lil Jimmy, thank you for the 2, though. I appreciate that. But that's the situation with that. Anyways, We then move on to woo, 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 you know it. Zachary Ryder shows up, and he is fighting Los Angeles Knight. Obviously, Los Angeles Knight has not won a match, it feels like, in 15 years, which I think his last singles match that he's won, I think, was June or July versus Kofi Kingston. So, I mean, you know, like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that at this point. Anyways, Zachary Ryder comes out, gets a solid pander pop, you know what I'm saying? Because it is Zach Ryder, so it's kind of cool to see him back in there. So that's kind of sick, if you ask me. It's good to see the guy. Mr. Slayer sends over a 5. He says, you think next week Drew is going to say, I can't stop thinking about Punk, and I can't stop thinking about Cody. That's why I'm joining the Vision. He probably is going to say that, and it will be absolutely hilarious. The moment that Drew McIntyre says, I can't stop thinking about Punk, like another time, it'll be my new intro. I promise you that. Dead serious. Drew McIntyre saying that is literally going to do numbers, man. It's going to be a generational moment. But anyways, Zack Ryder fights LA Knight. LA Knight obviously got the W because at the end of the day, I mean, it's LA Knight versus Zachary Ryder. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. What does it say here? Lil Jimmy says over another 2. He says, if you lose weight, you might look decent, man. Hey, man, I appreciate the 2, bro, for sure. You know what I mean? We gotta go on a cut like Roman Reigns and come out like he was looking before WrestleMania 40, bro. Roman Reigns actually came out in great shape for both those manias, Mania 40 and 41, man. That's the ideal look for sure. ZM sends over a 5. He says Triple H refuses to make Drew the face of the company due to his jealousy that Drew will outshine his legacy, and that's facts. I mean, that's fact. I mean, I can't even, I have nothing else to say that. That's absolutely complete facts. Thank you for the 5. I mean, that's just complete true. Drew McIntyre probably would outshine Triple H's legacy if he was given the opportunity correctly, but, you know, it just depends. Anyways, we then move on. Zack Ryder loses to LA Knight. LA Knight kicked out of the Rough Rider, of course, and that's basically all you need to know about this match. There's nothing special that you need to talk about. Nobody cares. We then move on. We got a women's backstage beatdown that, of course, nobody cares about because it's a women's backstage beatdown that nobody cares about because we're going to get this retcon on Monday, so I don't really know what to say about this. Let me see this here. God of the Internet sends over a 2. He says, how would you do against Triple H in UFC? Honestly, if it's Triple H in his prime, I'm not winning that. I think that's a pretty fair assumption. I mean, Triple H in his prime was roided up and absolutely jacked out of his mind. Roxy Wolfie, what's it called? I legit thought LA Knight was going to lose again, but Zack Ryder needs to stay in retirement. I'm shocked that Matt Cardona came out as Zack Ryder because I thought that gimmick was going to be dead until he came out, and that was basically it, man. So, you know, it is what it is. God of the Internet, thank you for the 2, by the way, and Roxy Wolfie, thank you so much for your dono as well. But that's the situation with that. Yeah, no, in Triple H's prime, I'm getting destroyed. Let's be honest with ourselves, guys. Triple H is, his back was like up to like here, bro. Like, I'm going to be, if we're in our prime for prime, no thank you. If we're both roided up, that's a different discussion because anything can happen at that moment. But if not, forget it. It's not happening. We then move on. The women's War Games team, the faces, like I said, get beat up backstage by the heels. We move on. Jade Cargill has a jobber match versus BFAB. This was good because we need more jobber matches. We need matches where heels can just beat up on a bum and completely destroy them. And after that takes place, we can finally deliver on building some actually menacing heels that are actually destroying people and beating the crap out of them. That is basically all we can say about that, man. It's as simple as that. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it, man. It's as simple as that. I'm glad that Jade Cargill absolutely jobbed out BFAB. After the match, Michin comes out to look down at her, eye up Jade Cargill, and basically kind of allude to the fact that they're going to be feuding next. Who wants to see Michin versus Jadano Cargill? Whatever. Anyways, Lil Jimmy sends over another 2. He says, Cody deserves to surpass Roman's title reign. Thank you for the 2, man. Listen, we're not even going to get into that, Mom. Just thank you for your support, bro. I'm going to just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to see Cody Rhodes with another championship reign. Let's be honest with ourselves. But anyways, let's move on to the main event segment, okay? I think after this, what happened after this, bro? Oh, yeah, that's my bad. After this, it was revealed that the John Cena tournament. Let's go through the next few matches that have been added into the tournament. Phineas Balor versus Penta. A match we've seen 14 million times is happening yet again. Yet again. Why would I want to see Penta or Phineas Balor fight John Cena? Why? Why? I just need somebody to give me a reason why. That's it. Just a reason. I need to know why. That's all I want to know. Why? I will take a sip of the libation. I will drink it. Why? Why, Mom? I don't get it. I don't get it. Why? I'm holding the mic in my face from this like now on. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we then move on. Another match that was added to the tournament. Bronzinho Reed versus Carmelo Hayes. That is another match that has been added into the John Cena tournament. So we're finally getting people who are actually young and can actually, that we would want to see possibly retire John Cena. I don't think anyone wants to see Bronson Reed do it, but Carmelo Hayes possibly, of course. Mr. Slayer39, thank you for the 5. He sends over a 5. He says, Cody with a Roman Reigns reign. We're good. Yeah, that's absolutely facts. Hey, buddy, we're good. Cut it out, man. We're good, bro. We're chilling on that. I don't want to see Cody Rhodes with the world title ever again after this reign. We have to stop it. We have to stop. Bronson Reed is 37. That is facts. Bronson Reed is not even that young. Carmelo Hayes is young. He's like 30, I think, or 29. I'll take that. That's a good age. You got another like 10 to 12 years of being in your absolute prime, like 10 years probably. The way he wrestles, he's got another decade in him of that level of wrestling. So I think that's the best way to do it. But those are the 2 new matches added. To the John Cena tournament. The common denominator here, guys, is that the tournament was supposed to have people incorporated from NXT. We have 1 person incorporated from NXT. 1. I digress. We move on to the main event. Cody Rhodes fights against Bronzinho Reed for nothing. Obviously the match, it was for the championship. It's for the WWE championship. I do appreciate Cody putting the title on the line. So that was pretty cool. I'm glad that actually happened. And that's basically the best thing about it. Brandon Kaminari, He sends over a 2. He says Penta versus Dominic part 2647. Yes, that's exactly what we're getting. Because we get the same garbage every single time. Anyways, Cody Rhodes is fighting Bronson Reed. The match itself is okay, like it's decent, but of course it ended in a DQ, which now they call it a no contest. The match ends in a The match ends in a hold on, let me time this dude out, bro. It's actually kind of crazy. You could just put people in timeout on this, man. That is pretty insane. Anyways, though, at the end of the day, the match ends in a no contest. After the match ends in a no contest, we get a brawl because, as per usual, no matter what happens, we get a brawl. Anyways, let's read this real quick. Lil Jimmy says over another 2, man. Thank you so much for your support, Lil Jimmy. He says Velveteen Dream should retire John Cena and maybe Cody Rhodes. Hey, man, we'll see. Anyways, after that takes place, we move on to a brawl. Logan Paul comes back, and Braun Breaker comes out. Bronson Reed is there, and so obviously is, what's the dude's name, man? Drew McIntyre. I almost forgot that Drew McIntyre was even there because of how irrelevant he is after this booking. Brainwood sends over a 2. Brainwood in, he says, this is the worst tournament since WrestleMania 4. Yes. Okay, anyways. He said, what's it called? That's the heel team. Drew McIntyre comes out and is brawling with people, and he's revealed as the 4th member on the War Games team. Jimmy Uso and the Usos are about to put Logan Paul through a table until Drew McIntyre pushes Jay off the rope. He beats up him and Jimmy, and then afterwards, we then move on, and we get, what even happened after this, man? Trap Senpai sends over a 5. He says, seems like the current topic of discussion in Red in the wrestling niche is LA Knight. Do you plan on making a video about him like everyone else has? Yes, I do. Thank you so much for your support, Trap Senpai. I have a video coming out about LA Knight in the very, very near future, because we have to discuss something that's taken place with him, some things that have taken place, and we have to address it accordingly. But at the end of the day, it's been revealed that Drew McIntyre is now in the feud, and all I can say about this makes no sense. War Games is a joke, and it's a scam, and it is garbage, and it makes no sense, and I've said this a million times. Let me explain something to you guys, and I've said this before like at least 2 or 3 times in the last few months. The first time I said this, though, was months ago because I predicted that this was what War Games was going to be. I'm pretty sure I think this was a video like 3 months ago or 2 months ago. I said that the War Games teams would be Seth, Braun, and Benito, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. Seth got injured, so you insert Logan Paul in there. So that's the heel team. And then I said that the men's team would be Roman, the Usos, CM Punk, and John Cena. The only person you can interchange there is John Cena for CM Punk. Everything else is the same. It's the same team. You know what I'm saying? Or no, you can interchange one of them for Cody Rhodes. Interchange Cena for Cody Rhodes. You look at this team, it makes no sense. Let's explain why. Roman Reigns, hold on, sorry. Sherez Seals, thank you so much. Sends over a 10. I appreciate you. She says, I love your content. You're super funny. I love you. I respect you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Walst Money sends over a dono. He says, starts with a lame promo, ends with a brawl. That's exactly how it is. Anyways, this is the situation with this. Roman Reigns has already beat Brock Lesnar a multitude of times. Roman Reigns has already beaten Bronson Reed. Roman Reigns has already beaten Logan Paul. Roman Reigns has already beaten Drew McIntyre. And obviously, nobody cares about Braun Breaker because Braun Breaker got beat by Jey Uso like 5 times and he got beat by Samuel Zayn. So that doesn't matter. Cody Rhodes has beat everyone on the opposing team multiple times except for Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. On top of that, CM Punk has beat everyone on the opposing team except for Brock Lesnar and who else? I think that's it. That's literally it. Him and Brock Lesnar maybe, and that's basically it. We then move on. Jey Uso has beat everyone on the opposing team except for Brock Lesnar. We then move on. Jimmy Uso has beat everyone on the opposing team except for Logan and Brock Lesnar. Do you see how stupid this matchup is? The faces are heavily favored, and if the booking is consistent, this match is not going to be close. It makes no sense why it's happening because there's no story. And on top of that, why in the world would this match even be taking place when we know nothing is going to be accomplished from this? If the faces win this match, what changes? If the heels win this match, what changes? It's stupid, nonsensical, dumb, and on top of that, the combination of both of them is dumb because not only does it not make sense, but nothing is accomplished from this. Nothing is accomplished. So I just don't know what to say about this anymore, man. This is getting stupid. Dark Lightning Inferno sends over a 5. He says, we should have gotten Roman Reigns versus John Cena one last time with Cena finally getting a win over a guy that he never beaten one-on-one. That would have been pretty cool, actually. They could still do Roman versus Cena for the IC title if they really want to get freaky, but they're not going to do that. Thank you for the dono. Mason Smith sends over a 2. He says, all these victory resumes just to get jobbed out. Yeah, it's just stupid. It's just ridiculous at this point. We're sitting here watching things that make no sense, and we're supposed to sit here and just call it good for no reason. This is just dumb, man. Lil Jimmy sends over a 5. He says, you think Logan Paul got what it takes to be the next face of WWE? Logan is a bigger star than Hulk Hogan when we were the same age. So I think so. Honestly, Logan Paul is probably a bigger star than every wrestler that's ever existed, if we're being realistic about it. So honestly, on that note, I think that's great. Thank you for the dono, Lil Jimmy. Jan Marco Marquez sends over a 2. He says, the Uso fatigue is real and it's alive. Well, get ready because you're going to get even more of the Usos. And you're going to get even more of the Usos. The Usos have been on every show. They've done every single PLE. They've done absolutely nothing of meaning on those PLEs, but of course they're there. Anyways, after this happens, the new War Games team stands tall. And of course, another issue we have with this War Games teams, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. What do you guys think about Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed right now? I think they look like jobbers. That's what I think. I think they look like jobbers, bro. If I'm being realistic. They're sitting next to Braun Breaker, to Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. They look absolutely out of place. They look like jobbers. I've had enough of them, man. Yes or no, do Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed not look like jobbers right now? They look like insignificant jobbers. That's literally what they look like. When you're standing next to Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul, 3 actual superstars, and you throw them out there, they're like way smaller than everyone else. They look smaller, they are smaller, and they don't have the same star power. This is not a good look. It's not a good look, buddy. Not good. D sends over a 2. He says, Roman being a jobber while being the biggest draw. Yes, it's exactly what it is. He's booked like a jobber, but he's still the biggest superstar because he's all they have. So thank you for the 2. What's it called? God's Willa sends over a 2. He says, Brock Lesnar in the Big 25 is a tragedy. It is. Thank you for the dono, Big Willa. Appreciate your support. 3 Diglett sends over a 10. He says, Reed and Brunson don't even mesh well together. Exactly. Reed and Breaker, sorry, don't even mesh well together. Thank you, 3 Diglets, for your support. You're a consistent supporter, and I really appreciate that. Yes, that's absolutely facts. Brock Lesnar or Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, it's over, guys. It's done. I'm sorry. If you guys had to pick a young superstar that you actually believe can actually be a genuine superstar inside of this company, who are you picking? A young superstar, man. Walst Money says over at 7, he says, CDEX, you're not a real fan if you criticize WWE, F off. I can't believe a man in a high position of a company said that. Yeah, it's embarrassing. Thank you so much for the donut, though. I appreciate that. Mr. Slayer 39 says over a 5. He says those two barely won any matches. They just beat up people and call it a day. Thank you for the donut. That's complete facts. Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, Austin Theory. I forgot about Austin Theory. Has your opinion changed on Mania Night 1? No. Absolutely not. Prunce5237, thank you for the dono. Appreciate you, bro. But that, in my opinion, has completely not changed. We have a lot of Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes looks to be the consensus, guys. It looks like it's Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams are the consensus of what's it called of the best people that are available. That's what it seems like, and that's what it is. If we're being honest, those are the 2 best options that we have available, and it's as simple as that. Grayson Waller, Big J. I'm gonna start calling him Big J instead of Big G because he's a jobber. But Grayson Waller's a great dude though, and he's got some talent. He shouldn't be a jobber, He should be more than that because he can be a good mid carder. I feel like at one day if he's developed, I could see him winning a U.S. title or an Intercontinental title. That will be the extent of what he accomplishes. But I mean, that's a lot better than a lot of other stuff that could happen. So it is what it is, in my personal opinion. Of course, you know what I mean. We have to be honest about it and really acknowledge it for what it is. So that's the way that I see it. Anyways, like I said before, those are your War Games teams, and that was SmackDown. The show is complete garbage. Obviously, the main things that we have to discuss with this are the War Games teams. But if you guys are being realistic about it, we know these War Games teams mean absolutely nothing. So it's time to analyze chat while I also explain my thoughts now on the aftermath of this episode and where storylines are going. Sports MMA sends over a tweet. He says Brock and 4 bumps pretty much. Yes, exactly. Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, who's a jobber, which, by the way, Drew McIntyre coming out there and hitting these claymores is just stupid. Nobody wants to see this, man. Nobody's excited by this anymore. His claymores don't do anything. You got pinned by Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Come on, man. We've had it like, we are we not done with this already, bro? I'm done with Drew. And at the end of the day, I have so much respect for Drew. Drew's one of my favorite wrestlers, but he absolutely is a jobber right now. It's simple as that. I don't care how many times he comes out there. Tonight, Drew McIntyre always waves his hands if he's like this after he does something stupid. He's like, oh, yeah, it wasn't me. I didn't mean to do it. But I can't stop thinking about Punk. And I can't stop thinking about Cody. And I can't stop thinking about Randy. That's all he does. It's not even Randy. It's Rundy. Anyways, situation with that. Sherez Seal sends over a 5. Thank you so much for your support. She says, I feel like they should have made the bronze more destructive. I mean, stealing Roman's shoes was insane. Yes, they should have done something to make them feel more like threatening. They don't feel threatening. And now that they're standing next to people who are significantly bigger than him, it's just not even comparable at this point. Social Justice Logic sends over a 2. He says, visually, the heel team look like tank skin comparison. Yeah, they're pretty much garbage. Johnny M sends over a 5. Thank you, by the way, for the support. Social Justice Logic, thank you so much. Johnny M sends over a 5. He says, Loki was happy Zack Ryder was back, but not happy he's in the garbage state of WWE. Yes, of course we're not. It's complete trash. We obviously know at this point what the history is with Zack Ryder, but man, nobody cares, man. Even his return pop wasn't even that great. It wasn't that great, It really wasn't. Obviously, there's certain scenarios in which, the crowd was obviously excited to see him, but it was not that great, if we're being realistic. Okay. Thank you, C-Dax. Real talk. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate that. But yes, let's go over an aftermath now of where storylines are headed. First off, the Women's War Games match. Who are we picking to fill out the heel team for the Women's War Games match that actually makes sense? Besides AJ and Becky, because we know that's probably what they're going to do. But besides them, who do you guys think can actually fill in those spots and actually make sense for these teams? Because right now, it looks like it's not going to make any sense at all. That's all it is. I mean, none of this stuff makes any sense, bro. Let's be honest with ourselves. Sherez Seal sends over another 5. Thank you again for your support. She says, and I can't stop thinking about how Triple Fraud is jobbing me out. Yes, Triple Fraud. Triple H, man, we're good. I'm just gonna leave it at that, man. I don't even have the energy to go at Triple H tonight, man. I'm gonna be a good dude for him, man. I'm not even gonna get into that, bro. I'm gonna be a nice guy, but it's ridiculous. Chelsea and Kiana. I mean, possibly that. I mean, I don't think that's gonna work though, because Chelsea Green has no business being on either team. Walsh Money sends over a 3. He says WWE War Games is gonna be some Weenie Hut Jr. match. It's gonna be trash. We already know this going into it though. You know what I mean? There's nothing realistically that we can actually be surprised at going forward. The Women's War Games match last year was one of the worst matches of all time. And now you go back this year with a match that has even less of a story. Bro, it's going to get bad. It's going to get very, very bad. And we're going to be in dire straits. I'm going to just leave it. It's going to get real, real bad, bro. If you thought that what this was complete garbage, just wait till you see what's coming in the Women's War Games match, man. It's going to be really, really bad. And I don't even think people are ready for how bad it's going to be. It's going to suck. There's no stories, right? Nothing makes any sense. And even from the perspective of the heels, nobody really wants to see these people wrestling. Nobody pays thousands of dollars to watch the Kabuki Warriors fight Alexa and Charlotte for the 50th time. Rhea Ripley's fighting against the Kabuki Warriors for the 5th time in 3 months? What about this? This is not exciting. Nobody's excited for this. This is stupid. So that's the way I see it, man. I think it's ridiculous, and I think that I think that War Games is going to be a disaster. Actually, I know that War Games is going to be a disaster, and it's as simple as that. Bring back Survivor Series traditional. I agree with that completely. What they should have done, let me tell y'all guys what should have happened at Survivor Series this year, right? As part of actually saying goodbye to the man, the myth, the legend, Jonathan Cena, what you should have done is you should have just gone all out and had a situation where you have John Cena, Roman Reigns, and you should have started building to this after SummerSlam. That's what you should have done. John Cena, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Jey Uso. That should have been your 5 faces heading into to War Games. And you should have built an actual story around it starting in August. That way, when we got to this point in late November, you would actually have something that makes sense and that we would genuinely be excited for. Imagine how hype it would be and how exciting it would be if you had a great storyline behind Roman, Cody, Punk, Jey, and Cena teaming up for Cena's final SummerSlam's team-up match, or Survivor Series team-up match, bro. That would be amazing. And they should have fought against Brock Lesnar, Seth if he wasn't injured, Benito, Braun, and Drew McIntyre. And if you actually built to that story for 2 or 3 months, you would have had an absolutely epic War Games match that mattered, that was necessary, that had a good story, and it would have had star power, and it would have actually been invested in what's happening. That's what the War Game should have been for this year. Just like after Roman returned last year at Survivor Series, we finally got people actually, Roman Reigns was already building towards the feud with Solo. That's what should have happened. But instead, you're getting a meaningless match that's for nothing. You're getting a meaningless feud that doesn't even make any sense and the story's non-existent. And you're getting a match that nobody's invested in and nobody cares about. It's as simple as that, man. I just booked a better War Games in 2 seconds than they've booked in 5 months. It's just ridiculous at this point, bro. Mr. Slayer 39 says over a 5. He says, can't wait for EO to use the trash can again, or they're going to do the angle of them actually stopping EO using the trash can for the 5th time. Mr. Slayer, thank you for the donut, and that's complete facts. All they do is rehash these same spots in all of these matches. It's the same thing. Have you guys ever noticed with Ilya Dragunov's or Jabarov's United States Championship Open challenges that every time the match ends with him no-selling the other person's finisher, and then he hits his finisher and he pins him? Same match. Same match. Just like in War Games every year, what do, guys? Roman Reigns is forced in, the Usos are forced in, and they throw other people in there. That's it. Roman Reigns is literally the only thing they have. It's going to be very sad when he retires. It's gonna be very sad when it retires, bro. What's it called here? Let's see this here. Brandon Kaminari sends over a 5. He says, when WWE doesn't have good stories, wrestling turns into meaningless fighting. Yeah, pretty much. Brandon Kaminari, thank you so much for the donut. I appreciate your support. Whilst Money sends over a big 14. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. He says, I don't know why no one wants to hold Triple H accountable. When Vince is booking trash, he gets called out. But when Tony is booking some garbage, he gets called out. But when Triple H books trash, it's TKO's fault. It's ridiculous. I've said that before, and that's completely facts. Ceresio sends over a 2 again. Thank you so much again. She says disaster games. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I've said this before, guys. It makes no sense how... Let me see this real quick. It makes no sense, right? First off, we have to think about this logically. Why in the world, and I mean in the absolute, I'm really trying to think of reasonings while I'm actually I'm just trying to think about this logically while I'm saying this out loud, right? Why is it that Vince McMahon is getting destroyed? When WWE was reaching its lowest points in 2010s, he was getting destroyed. Every day getting destroyed. Tony Khan right now is not even booking shows that are that bad. They're not even that bad at all in many cases. You know what I'm saying? Especially with their actual premium shows. You know what I'm saying? Like Blood and Guts, for example, is a decent show. You know? It's a good show, actually. And you're telling me that those dudes are getting bashed like if they're the worst bookers ever. But Triple Fraud can run WWE into the lowest rating it's ever had. And we don't see that anywhere near as much criticism for it. Anywhere near. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it, bro. I'm really trying to think, and I can't wrap my head around what we're watching, bro. It's stupid. So stupid, man. It's so unfair. You know, I understand, because listen, here's the thing. Obviously, Vince McMahon off camera is not a good person. You know what I'm saying? At least in terms of, you know what I'm saying, what's being alleged, obviously, of what he's allegedly done and all that other stuff. We know he has some problems outside of what he's doing as a booker. But man, if we're judging as a booker, how are we giving Vince McMahon criticism and hatred for all he's doing? But then when Triple H books the worst year of WWE ever and puts us into a dirt hole, no one says anything. What? You have to be balanced, man. Sonny sends over a 5. Thank you so much for your support. He says, CDEX, I mess with your content so heavy, you actually inspire me to be consistent with my YouTube videos. You went from underground to the face of the IWC. Thank you so much, Sonny. That's a really positive and supportive message, and I really appreciate that, bro. That means a lot, man. Thank you for being with me along this journey as well, and thank you again for the 5. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? AEW has been better than WWE since 2022. I don't know about that. Now, WWE's been garbage, but we have to slow our rolls a little bit here, okay? AEW is better than WWE this year, for sure. I don't even think that's even close, to be honest with you. Like, AEW's had a lot of bad months, but man, if you're actually looking, like, for example, right? I said this before. If you only watch the WWE pay-per-views and don't watch any of the week-to-week shows all year this year, you will have missed nothing. With AEW, there's probably at least, like, 5 to 10 shows that you would have to must see, like episodes of Dynamite, you know what I'm saying? Along with the PLEs to actually get what you've gotten. AEW's pay-per-views and PLEs this year, whatever you want to call them, their pay-per-views this year compared to WWE's PLEs, AEW wipes WWE out of the water. Out of the water. It's not even remotely close. It's not even remotely close. Not even close. Stop. Just stop. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch Collision, to be honest with you. I don't watch Dynamite live every single week, right? But I tune in with it and keep up with it for the most part. Well, not for the most part, but for a good bit. You know what I'm saying? And obviously for the pay-per-views, I'm watching what happens. And if you're actually sitting there with yourself and being honest, AEW's pay-per-views this year are light years better than WWE's PLEs. You know what I mean? Simple as that, bro. It's as simple as that. Tony Khan knows how to make consistently good PLEs better than Triple H does. That's the way I see it. Triple H had it consistent for like 6 months, but then afterwards, he started just randomly doing the same thing over and over again. And that got repetitive and boring. And when he tried to switch it up, he has no stories week to week to make you care for what's happening. So it doesn't matter. Simple as that, bro. Triple H had a chance to do something really special, guys. But he couldn't do it because he's not that guy. It's as simple as that, bro. Literally as simple as that, mom. There's really nothing like it. It's really like, you know what I mean? Like, let's be real with ourselves, guys. Come on, mom. You know? Anyways, as I was saying, let me make sure I read everything and caught up on this stuff, bro. What's your mic equipment setup? I literally just have this mic plugged into a USB-C wire directly through the side of my phone, and there you have it, man. We're good to go. That's as simple as that, bro. The Glazer is rage baiting. MJF would be a jobber if he was done WWE. Yes, exactly, because Triple H has no idea what he's doing. I really wanted MJF to go to WWE in like early 2024 when he was a free agent. But if we're being real, if MJF went to WWE, his career would likely end. Because he would not be able to do even half of the stuff he does in AEW, and it would not be entertaining as much because he would be, you know, what's it called, restricted and limited, and that wouldn't be fun for any of us. You know, we want the real MJF, the MJF that I know and love, and the MJF that is easily one of, if not the best current professional wrestler that is below the age of 40. Simple as that. Mr. Slayer 39 sends over a 5. He says, Triple Fraud just wanted to one-up Tony Khan for no reason. Yes, Mr. Slayer, thank you for your support. That's complete facts, bro. All Triple H will literally throw out Women's Evolution that has no care, no development, or anything. The show ended up being good, so I'll give him that. But again, he's throwing out shows simply to compete with AEW. Like, there's no other reason behind it, you know? Nicholas Johnson says over a 5. He says, any plans to cover AEW shows and pay-per-views? Possibly. The only problem is that it's hard to grab pictures and images for AEW and video footage for editing because of the copyright stuff, man. That's the problem, you know? Plus, it doesn't get a lot of viewership, of course, so that's also something else, but it's mainly about the fact that you can't get the materials without getting copyrighted. You know what I mean? Like how I make my reviews and videos and I have, like, pictures or sometimes videos for WWE, you can't do that with AEW. Because you're going to get copyrighted. So, you know what I'm saying? So, you have to be really careful with that stuff. I don't even think you can do reactions to AEW vids. I know a lot of people post reactions to WWE, you know, PLEs and pay-per-views, but you can't even do that with AEW, I don't think, unless you have some type of way to get around it, but I'm pretty sure they crack down on it. Walst Money sends over a 7. He says, speaking of MJF, he might win another world championship when he comes back. I mean, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, bro. You know what I mean? I hope so. But it's a shame. You know, hopefully, like, in an ideal world, I would want MJF to come to WWE, to have no restrictions, and to be pushed to be the top star in the company like he should be immediately. But unfortunately, I know that Triple H wouldn't do that. MJF probably know that Triple H wouldn't do that, and so that's why we don't have it. Will Ospreay versus Roman Reigns will be a banger. I agree with that completely. What are some dream matches that you guys would want to see? If AEW and WWE crossed over, did a Forbidden Door, whatever you want to call it, what are the type of dream matches you would want? What would you guys want, man? And you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you obviously have the easy ones, or like Jon Moxley and Seth Rollins, or, you know, Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns, MJF versus Roman, you know, MJF versus Cody, etc. But like, what do you guys think? Will Ospreay versus Seth Rollins, yeah, that's a classic for sure. That probably would go down as a top 10 match in wrestling history, most likely. That match, if they're both in their primes, bro, like Will Ospreay, like right now, and Seth Rollins, like 5 years ago or like 10 years ago, dude, it would have been generational. Will Ospreay versus AJ Styles, yeah, that would have been good. Javon versus what did that say? Javon Evans versus, I think I lost it. Javon Evans versus Darby Allin. That would have been pretty good. Ospreay versus Javon Evans. Yeah, bro. Dude, Will Ospreay versus Javon Evans would be an absolute banger. They would be putting on a banger. And MJF and Roman Reigns going to put on a banger. And John Moxley and Seth Rollins going to put on a banger. You know? Nicholas Johnson says over a 5, he says we might have to ask Bobby Monsoon how he was able to do his, or maybe it's just live streams. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to check in with him for sure to see how to do it, because I know that the at least if you're trying to post it on TikTok, I don't think you can. Maybe on YouTube you can. I don't know. I have to look into it. You know, I've used AEW's pictures in the past, but it's hard to get the live pictures from the actual event and then incorporate them into a video as I'm going through it. So it's just a little bit of a different story, but you know, we'll be good to go. Chris Statlander versus Rhea Ripley. Oh, wow. That would be a pretty good match. Rhea Ripley and her, yeah, I feel like they would bounce well off each other in the ring. I think Statlander is a little bit overrated, but they could make some good things happen for sure. Moxley versus Roman Reigns, not Dean Ambrose. Yeah, I know, it's Jon Moxley now. Obviously, we all remember him as Dean Ambrose going up, but that's not, you know, now he's Jonathan Moxley, man, so we got to refer to him as Jonathan Moxley. Samoa Joe versus Bronsinho Reed, that would have been pretty good, honestly. Samoa Joe like 5-10 years ago versus Bronson Reed now. Yeah, that'd be actually be pretty fun, honestly, now that I think about it. You know what I'm saying? I might watch that match, you know? I would pay to watch a card. If that was like an undercard match, I think that's actually a good undercard spot, you know? Just do face cam reviews for AEW. Yeah, that's probably the main way to do it. Just have to do face cam and use, you know, pictures, interchange them and stuff like that. Do all that stuff. Yeah, Kyle versus Trick. That'd be pretty good as well. Trick Williams can have some banger matches, man. He still probably can get even better in the ring, too, than he is now, because he's still young. Or he's like 29 or 28, whatever Trick Williams is. He's got like another 12 years left, you know what I'm saying? And he's actually a big guy, so he actually looks imposing for once. You know what I'm saying? Most of these people look like jobbers, and they're small. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to end the live stream because I'm going to make the actual like shorter review now for SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? For people who want to watch the actual YouTube video and who aren't on the stream, I'm gonna make the SmackDown review now for them. So with that being said, as per usual, another phenomenal stream, a massive success, a record gate. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody for coming through on the stream. I thank you guys so much for, you know, all the support, the love, the care, all of the, you know what I'm saying, the super chats, everything, man. It's all supportive, it's all love, and it's all great. And without further ado, I thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a phenomenal day. We have one last dono here. Oh, hold on. We got some last second ones, bro. Put up some last second heaves. Nicholas Johnson sends over a 5. He says, who would be good candidates to replace Triple H? The Rock's writing team. And probably if there's wrestlers who, I don't want any former wrestlers doing it. I need people who actually have been proven to put on good stories. So the bulk of the Rock's writing team who was working during Mania 40 season, I feel like could help out a lot. And I think that would be huge. I think that's the team that he used like for the Mania 40 run. I'd say that that's probably the best way to go about it. And then Mr. Slayer 39 sends over a 2. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much as well, Nicholas Johnson. Mr. Slayer says, don't forget to watch the video from 5 months ago. That's right, actually. I am going to watch that. I am going to check that out. I'm looking for the Soul Sokoa intro. I'll make sure I look for that. Anyways, as I've been saying, oh yeah, that's right. Shawn Michaels or Paul Heyman, I'd say, could work. I don't like having former wrestlers book my shows, though, man. It's getting really tiring. But if I had to pick someone who I think is doing a good job despite being a former wrestler, obviously Shawn Michaels is numero uno for sure. But anyways, as always, thank you guys for coming through to the stream. I appreciate you guys. I respect you guys. I love you guys. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out. And one love. You know what I'm saying? Hit that you know what I mean? Have a great night, everybody.